In a world where motorcycles weren't complex enough, we now have hybrids. Do you have anything to say for yourself? No statements were taken today. But Yamaha has, and it's been a little bit, but Yamaha has been playing with the idea of hybrids. And they had a scooter, which I love, but we'll circle back. But my wife brought this to me, and I did a little bit of research, and you know what? I don't think I love it. But let me tell you why. So first things first, obviously we have these beautiful electric dirt bikes here. And I have a Tenere, I have some other bikes, we got some fun stuff. We got a Townie, we got a freaking Townie. It even says slow. But Kawasaki has had a Ninja 700, which is a hybrid version of a Ninja 500. I don't know where they got the 7, but you know, that's their thing. So, do we need hybrid motorcycles, and what even are they good for? Because what's wrong with a gas bike? And the only two answers I've come up with that are sound and range. And when I say range, I mean fuel efficiency. Some people could say, you know, it's green and it's yada yada. Emissions. But I'm going to circle back on that because I don't think it's good. Are you good, homie? You never do this. All right. Come on, bud. You'll be in the video? Come on. So, range-wise, so I don't have any, you know, fuel mileage to go off of with the Yamaha, but it is built off of the MT-09, and it is a hybrid built system where they have a battery, integrated differential, yada yada. But their concept still has a clutch and everything. It's still functionally a motorcycle. What it looks like is it's just at low RPM. It utilizes the electric motor, and that's all it does. And the Ninja 700 does definitely seem to do that as well. It is only assisting at low RPM, low speed, and it's stepping in, which after I've done some digging, a Ninja 500 gets like 50 miles to the gallon, and people are getting like 45 miles to the gallon out of a Ninja 7. So what good does that do? Because I've always been a huge advocate that electric cars are actually kind of goofy to most people because, hey, buddy, you're getting hair. Go on. Get out of here. Get out of here. You're ruining the show.
He's improving.
He's improving. So the thing is like, I've always kind of said that, like, just like these electric bikes, like electric cars there's such a specific use case, or you should have two cars and that one of them can be electric, because if you need to go more than 250 miles, then you now have met a limitation that is putting a constraint on you. And I've always loved hybrids, especially plug-in hybrids, because that gives you a little bit of the best of both worlds. But in a car, you can deal with the fact that it's 700 pounds heavier because it has an electric motor, charging system, and a battery, and a cooling system. And on a motorcycle, like on the Ninja 7, for a great example, a regular Ninja 500 weighs about 370 pounds, whereas the hybrid version is 120 pounds heavier. It is over 500 pounds when you put it on a scale, and you're going to feel that. If this bike was 20 pounds heavier with mud, I feel it. So you're talking about such a specific situation that, do we need hybrids? And I want to circle back on the scooter, because the scooter is what I actually think makes a lot of sense, because most of the times in a scooter, you're spending most of your time at low speed, and that's when it makes sense. But I don't know the fuel mileage numbers of the scooter, because, I mean, Zumas probably get around 80 miles to the gallon, and that's why a lot of people buy scooters, because they're cheap and they're fuel efficient. And I don't actually think we're in a world that we need hybrid motorcycles. I think they're cool, and I think to some people they have a case. But I actually feel like the demographic of people that want a hybrid motorcycle is less than the people that want an electric. And because most of the people that are going to have electric, they know their use case, or the demographic is leaning towards that side, because you want to completely get away from emissions. If you are getting the same amount of fuel mileage out of a hybrid, and you compare it to the similar gas, and you're getting the same amount of mileage, you are actually worse for the environment because you have now mined a bunch of lithium and you've got a whole battery, you've got a whole motor, you've got all this extra materials, and you're not any better. So it's now you've tackled this whole situation of what does it take to be more efficient? What does it take to be more clean, more silent? And the silent is the only part that I have now met, where if you're driving below 15 miles an hour, you can now get to the point where I tried.
Have you thought about this is how motorcycle companies can get past emission laws by like getting better horsepower? Because not only do you have combustion now, you have EV help, but you couldn't do that before if you had just an engine or combustion because emissions wouldn't allow it.
So great point, because America is probably one. Wouldn't you agree that we're one of the?
Probably just California.
It's probably just California, but that's a great point, because if you're talking about horsepower numbers, because a lot of parts of the world go off of like horsepower, off of their regulations for motorcycles, and I don't know if the hybrid can skirt that somehow, but now if you can make your gas motor even like if you can restrict it while making it more carbon efficient, just better for emissions because you put a catch can and you put all this other stuff on it that makes it better, but then you make up the difference in the electric. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, well, you could probably still have the engine that you have now to say that the Yamaha is using the MT-09 engine. Right now it's meeting emissions, and you throw on an EV engine, generator, everything like that on it, then you could get who knows how much more out of that without having to break that CC, like.
Oh, the CC regulation. Yeah. Well, and that poses a whole completely different conversation, because now is it meeting a different classification? Is it what rules does it now have to go through? Because there's a whole set of rules that EVs have to meet. So now does a hybrid have to meet both regulations? So this is, we're talking about a world where the DRZ 400 didn't change for 14 years because they didn't want to have to re-meet regulations. And so it surprises me that anyone's really worth, I'm assuming that Yamaha has been dealing with this for decades.
Well, they came out with the scooter in 2020, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so that's 5 years ago. And we don't see any in the US, but they're in other countries apparently. So, and then here's the other thing is like the Ninja 7 is $12,000. Whereas, you're talking about big high quality bikes are, yes, these are $12,000. Yes, I understand that. But you could buy an MT-09 non-hybrid for that. So I feel like we're kind of,
Why?
Yeah, this is a big why.
I'm here for it.
I innovate, do something crazy. Maybe we'll turn into this is like the new Koenigsegg or McLaren LP1. Like this is now, and then we'll have just an insane amount of horsepower, but you then have to outweigh the weight. So it's a big conundrum.
With cruisers out there.
See, cruisers and Honda Goldwings are actually the thing that I was thinking that a hybrid would make more sense for, not a sport bike. Which an MT-09 is, it's down the middle, but the Tracer 900. The Tracer 900 would have made more sense to me for a hybrid.
Well, you have to think about it. The MT-09 has a really big pocket inside of their engine bay that it just has nothing there. So you could definitely fit that in easier and integrate it on the MT-09 better than you could a Tracer.
That's true, and yeah, and where are they stuffing the battery? I think it's probably just in the subframe, because in the diagrams it looks like it's in the subframe for the battery, and then the VCU and a lot of the electronics are in a cavity above the gas tank. So then they have to reduce the gas tank capacity? Whoop, big stretch. We had a big stretch going on here.
Only birds.
Only birds. Subscribe to your Only Birds. We don't have an account yet. No, yeah, it's okay. So, but let me know what you think. I mean, is it worth it? Is it even worth bothering with?
Just talk about it.
Just talk about it. Yeah, just talk about it. That's all I got to talk to you about. Appreciate you coming. Like and subscribe. Appreciate you. We're trying to branch out more than just these, so keep an eye out for more.
Are we?
Are we? I don't know. I just like these. I like motorcycles. Motorcycles are cool. I want to race my T7 more often.
Maybe.
Can you fix the parts?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
They're just gonna get broken.
I'm just gonna break them again. Yeah.
Alrighty. Like, subscribe,
Like, subscribe.
dog.
Dog.